Welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. Here we'll talk to the leaders in technology, culture, business, and the arts. We'll cover politics, advocacy, motherhood, writing, mental health, and mostly we'll focus on hope. Join Kim B. Davis, author, playwright, radio personality, event consultant, professional speaker on the Kim B. Davis Show. Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening we have one of our favorite guests on, Mr. Eric Harp, our certified professional fitness trainer. We're going to be talking about resetting our fitness goals this evening. Good evening, Mr. Harp. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, Mrs. Davis. How are you today?
I am great. So, you know how we do. We have so much to talk about, and there is so much going on. So, let me just see if I can summarize some stuff. So today, just before this show, we just learned that Texas Governor Abbott has just been tested positive for COVID, number one. This is the same governor who has been fighting the mask mandate in Texas. We have, it's 8 months into the year. COVID is still rampaging. We have mask mandates that are popping up all over the country. Everybody's like, okay, we got to go back to masking, even indoors. And you have lots of states who are saying, I don't want to wear a mask. Then we have a school board meeting, which I don't know if you saw it in Tennessee, where some medical personnel were there to talk about the fact that kids need to wear masks in school. The parents showed up in masks and threatened the medical personnel by saying, we know who you are. We know where you live. You will never be able to show your face again in public. And
while the parents wore masks.
Right. Some, not all.
The COVID mask or
neither. Oh, well, oh yeah, the latter.
They came in Halloween masks.
Yes, they did. But, but you know what is so sad? I read a story today about two parents who have orphaned their children because they decided not to get the vaccination. And I know that everybody has their own reasons for not getting the vaccination. The father was a scientist and said he did not trust the science. And I'm like, but you're a scientist. You're someone who went to school for this.
Sounds like Rand Paul.
Exactly. And now, sadly, they are both gone. They died within hours of each other. And these two children are now without parents. There is a case in Florida where a mother had just given birth. She was able to hold her child one time. 10 days later, she died from COVID. Another family.
Did she pass the COVID to the baby when she held the baby the one time?
Well, they haven't said that yet, but there's another case where it is like that, where you had a family who had two children. They had just had a baby. I don't know how old the baby was, but they elected to not get the vaccine as well and ended up coming down with COVID. And both parents and the baby died, but the oldest child that they had, which I want to say was under 5, is now a ward of the state. Mr. Hart, I don't know if you can make sense of this, but come talk to us a little bit about it.
We just went through 500,000 people dead. We just had kids homeschooled for almost 2 years. And people are screaming that they can't take it anymore. And they don't even know what they can't take.
Right.
I mean, what you just said is sad. Now, let's go back to the first one.
Governor
Abbott. He, along with Lindsey Graham, all about COVID, and then they catch it. But then there's senators with some of the best insurance, so you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Wow, this Abbott, has made a lot of noise. A lot of noise in the press, a lot of noise in the media, a lot of noise lately about what he's going to do to anyone who tries to go against his mandate. And the Supreme Court upheld his mandate.
It did.
Sad, because now he catches it and they may need to find another governor. You know, not wishing ill on anyone, but Texas needs to prepare to find another governor. It's horrible. And here we are, parents wearing Halloween masks to go to a teachers board meeting to threaten unmasked doctors or surgical mask doctors in N95 mask doctors. To come in and say, we know where you live. I mean, people saw The Purge too many times.
They really did. They really did.
People have watched these apocalyptic movies way too many times. And it's a shame when art imitates life and then life imitates art. And here we are, people wearing Jason masks now to go to a school board meeting. And I'm gonna have to pull this video up. I wasn't aware of that, but I'm gonna pull this video up and I'm gonna be a little bit more informed next time I talk to you. But I'm a little appalled by that one. I mean, there's really nothing that could shock us anymore, but wow. That one, yeah, that one made me twinge. It's amazing. You know, I wanted to say, when you talked about the scientist who is against science, just reminds me of all of this back and forth going on with this Senator Rand Paul and Dr. Fauci. Senator Rand Paul is trying to stand on his credentials, and I went to med school. I am a scientist. I am a doctor. I don't believe in this science. It had to. And Dr. Fauci is like, well, if you went to medical school, then you would know that molecularly, that's impossible. Case closed. And yet, nah. There had to be a way that it's your fault. And here we are on the road to another 500,000 people dying. Cases are going up everywhere. There's an opportunity that opportunity might be a bad word, but there is a chance that people will have to get a third shot. Now, that leaves me in a little limbo. What about the people who only got one shot?
Right.
You know, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, they didn't come up with a second shot, you know, so wow, it's gonna be another division of the vacciners. Whoa, The Purge 2, The Purge 3, how many was it?
I don't like that movie series. That movie series scared me. But you know what is sad, and you're right. We lost 500,000 people earlier in the course of the pandemic, in the beginning. Now they're predicting and stating that it's younger populations. In Broward County, Florida, the school board and parents came together because they want to have a mask mandate. Because DeSantis, the governor in Florida, said, oh, well, we don't need to have a mask mandate. Parents should be free to do whatever they decide to do. And these parents are like, but now we have a cluster of cases and kids have been exposed. And so now what I see happening is more and more as the schools open, kids are going to end up being hospitalized because too many districts and too many governors want to play politics with people's lives because you don't want to wear a mask.
Here we are again with, I heard kids can't get sick.
Right.
I heard it doesn't touch the young ones. Now here we are talking about a whole family dying. This Delta whatever the next variant is going to be, gamma,
Lambda.
lambda.
Mhm.
Wow.
'Cause
Alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Yeah, okay.
they're calling that the Doomsday Variant, which is scary. And I know that's the media hyping things up, but I mean, how much scarier can we get? And I don't even want to think about how much scarier it can get.
Well, we need to think how much scarier it can get. And that's the problem is it can get scarier.
Mhm.
You know, and the reason it can get scarier is because the people that just refuse not to wear a mask.
Mhm.
You know, you can go anywhere, any store, any public place, and some people wearing masks, some people are not.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm listening to the governor of California,
Mhm.
Newsom.
Mhm.
And he's talking about you have to wear a mask or show your passport.
Mhm.
And when you get to leading states like California, New York,
Mhm.
um, you get some of these bigger states that lead the way, then the rest will follow.
Right.
And as hesitant as Mississippi and Louisiana might be, they're going to have to follow suit
Mhm.
because they're going to continue to see their numbers spike.
Mhm.
You know, I don't wish ill on anybody, but maybe this is what that wake up needs. This is definitely the wake up that Texas and some of the other politicians on of his ilk will come out and flip it around. You know, there's a gentleman on Fox News, and I hate to promote anything in any channel, but Dan Bongino had the 45th president, the former president Donald Trump, on for a telephone interview.
Mhm.
And of course, that gives him a platform to say anything and everything he wants to say.
Mhm.
Of course, they want to blame the Biden administration for the Afghanistan troubles, which I'm sure we'll get into in a moment. But of course, the current surges and spikes in cases
Mhm. Mhm.
while taking credit for the vaccine.
Right.
Record time, getting it out in 9 months. And had it not been for him getting it out in 9 months, we'd been waiting 5 years. But he did turn around and say he would hope that people go get the vaccine.
Okay.
Which I was, hey, silver lining in that.
Mhm.
He spoke about all the teachers and he wished that they would go get a vaccine so that the kids could go back to school.
Mhm.
And definitely,
Mhm.
that's a definite. That should be a requirement
Mhm.
everywhere in all 50 states and in Puerto Rico and in every U.S. province.
Mhm.
Should be a mandate.
Mhm.
But right now, kids need to wear masks.
Yes.
Adults need to wear masks too.
Mhm.
Hard-headed, bull-headed adults need to wear masks. It's right back to that. We are going to shut down and everybody's going to be hurt because unemployment, people going to start getting $900 for that unemployment. And then you're going to hear that same old whining again.
Right.
I'm shaking my head because here we are. It's a never ending search. I mean, George Orwell, 1984, here in 2021.
Yes. 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 So I find it interesting because a couple of weeks ago it was trending on Twitter. So people were saying, "You guys, this is I Am Legend. If you all watch this movie, you know this is what's happening." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, you people!" I said, "You can talk about I Am Legend, The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. You can talk about Walking Dead. You can talk about a very good movie, but a scary movie called Contagion that stars Lawrence
There you go.
and
And
Matt
Dustin
Damon.
Hoffman.
No, that's
Was
Outbreak.
that Dustin? Oh,
That's,
Outbreak. Okay.
yeah, but Contagion has Lawrence Fishburne, Matt Damon, Gwyneth Paltrow, and I can't think of her name.
Was that the monkey bite?
No,
Was that
no,
the monkey scratch?
that's Outbreak. But
Okay, let me get my thing wrapped around. Okay, was it a science? Was it a science outbreak?
It is a
Leaked
science,
out?
but it's talking about a flu that is airborne. And the lady that's in Titanic, that's her name. I can't think of what her name is at the moment. She is a CDC.
Kate Winslet.
Yes, thank you. Kate
Okay.
Winslet is a CDC scientist, and she talks about how many times you touch your face, how many times when you open a door, you touch a surface, you drink from a cup, watering fountains, all the things that we're seeing that they said to stop doing, they did that in that movie. I said, if
Here
you
I am scratching my nose just like that.
exactly, because your nose starts to itch. And so, of course, now my nose is starting to itch because when we see somebody else do something, it's a ripple effect. And they're like, think of how many times you shake one person's hand and you go to touch your face, you've just exposed yourself. And
rub eyes after you did pump gas.
exactly. Or you go to a fast food restaurant, whatever it is, you are exposed because naturally we touch ourselves all over all the time. And when they were saying in I Am Legend, well, this movie is a harbinger, so to speak, of what we're saying. And I'm sitting there thinking, but that's not what it was. It was a virus that caused this issue, and they found a vaccine. It was a cure for cancer, and it had a side effect that turned everybody into monsters. This isn't the same thing. We've had people vaccinated for almost a year now. Nobody's turned into a zombie. And I bring all that up because there's so much misinformation. I go back to the scientist who said he didn't trust the science. And I guess I'm wondering, at what point do we get out of misinformation, mythology, rumors, innuendo, just plain ignorance over?
Well, that's the downfall of having everything right in front of you.
Okay.
Listen, you got to take the good with the bad.
Mm-hmm.
We want the convenience of having everything right in front of us, instantly, touch it with button, on demand. And there's some drawbacks to that, where we can't focus. We can't see what's coming. We don't know how to make decisions. We don't know how to discern right from wrong because there's so much things coming at us. Mm-hmm. And everything looks good. We don't know what's fool's gold. Mm-hmm. And that's the drawback of having everything right in front of us. With these movies, like I said, art imitates life imitates art, but then it happens just like that. And then when you get something that hasn't happened yet, and then all of a sudden I saw it in the movie, so I'm striving for it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I saw it in the movie, so gotta do it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Saw it in the movie, so this is why I do it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I saw it on YouTube, saw it on TikTok. Yeah. Now we jumped out of that, instead of instead of that paid $8 to go see that movie, mm-hmm. $10, whatever it costs now, it's now on quick videos that's 1 minute and 30 seconds. I saw somebody break their neck on an MTV show 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. Let me try it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We imitate. We're our humankind is about imitation. Now, if we can imitate the good stuff, but then again, you got to have somebody be a rebel, because it's better to be a rebel. It's fun to be a rebel. And I get it. We all get it. We're grown. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to matters of life and death, it's not about being a rebel. Mm-hmm. It's not about being a rebel, because now you kill my kid, you're a murderer. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You kill my family member, you're a murderer. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You didn't wear a mask and you intentionally didn't wear that mask, intentionally didn't get that vaccine. Now you catch something and pass it. I mean, wow, we stepping into new territory right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, because and there are some sicknesses that you can get arrested for passing on by
Mm-hmm.
not disclosing.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so this should and should be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I really hope that as a community, as a people, we all get it together,
Mm-hmm.
because there's going to be other viruses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the flu
Yes. I was gonna
has
say that.
been with us for 100 years,
Mm-hmm.
but most of us take it for granted and just go get a little shot and say everything's all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, it's got to get a new flu shot because there's a new flu, and then the flu changes all the time.
Right.
But yet, I don't hear anybody complaining about that vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But hey, listen, we got kids, you and I, putting young kids in school.
Mm-hmm.
Diphtheria. My
Mm-hmm.
goodness. You
Polio.
got to first spell it.
Right.
And and then your kid better have a vaccination for it before he can go to kindergarten. He or she can go to kindergarten.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, the chicken pox.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are things that people have no problem sticking into their children, because there's a mandate that you have to have it in order to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
But we let this one little man, I won't say one little, please forgive my vernacular, but we let this mandate turn from a mountain into a molehill. Was it a molehill? What is it? Molehill, whatever it is.
Molehill into a mountain.
Molehill into a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm backwards today, but
That's
you know
okay.
what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've let it snowball out of control, and unfortunately, you and I don't have the answers. All we can do is critique it and, and talk about it. Can I switch gears for one moment?
Yes, please, please.
As you know, New York Governor
Yes.
Andrew Cuomo is resigning
Yes.
For his many missteps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's going to be a subject, you know, for this debate for forever. You know, whether someone made an unwanted advance to someone, whether it was interpreted as an advance. Oop, that's not what that was. That what was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, he's doing the right thing, stepping down.
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of this pandemic, this is definitely going to be a time where they want to seize the R, you know, over the D, so that they can, once they get the D out of there, get this lieutenant governor, she'll be done. First woman, great, but let's get her out of there and put a Republican in that state.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's going to be the fight for 2022. That's going to be the fight for the next election.
Mm-hmm.
But again, for the country, we needed to rest on that subject.
Mm-hmm.
We have Afghanistan right now, with the pullout of Afghanistan, and the Taliban has just immediately taken over Kabul, the capital. So our world is definitely changing, and yet I just hear too many complaining about Texas, that border.
Yes. Okay, bring it up. Let's talk about it, because
How you gonna let these kids, these unvaccinated thugs, fresh released from prison, into our country?
Mm-hmm.
We were this close to building that wall. This close. This is the talk.
Yes, they're increasing the rates of infection they're bringing COVID with them. You talk about Afghanistan, and it was interesting because I watched Biden's speech yesterday and then flipped back and forth between CNN and Fox News and listened to both of them, where CNN talked about the missteps that President Biden gave in the speech. And then Fox News went from, well, the first thing that we want to see is that he has to thank the veterans and the men and women who've been fighting in this war. But then it went to, but we aren't going to accept all these people. What are we doing? We don't want to accept all these people. And I thought, wow, you can't fake it. You can't make a stand. You don't know which way you're going. And going back to what you said earlier, with so much information, it is easy, if you wanted to orchestrate something, to really do it, because there is too much information. You can go to CNN and get one thing, you can go to Fox News and get something else, you can go to MSNBC and get something, and C-SPAN and get something else. And you could get 2 or 4 totally different perspectives. And then you sit there like, well, I don't really know which way is up.
But that's because nobody's delivering the story.
Mm-hmm.
They're all opining or giving their opinion about the story.
Mm-hmm.
And telling you what they think about it before they tell you what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's 1,000 news channels to watch, and this is true.
Yes.
And this is true. Unfortunately, the good book, the Bible says, all we like sheep have been led astray.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, pick which leading you astray.
Exactly.
And so, please continue.
No. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was just going to say that, whether we agree or disagree with the other side or whatever that side might be, all us like sheep have been led astray. Mm-hmm. And even the organizers are astray. Mm-hmm. Everybody going their own way. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't know the Lord, this is the time to get to know the Lord. This is a public service announcement for get saved.
Amen, Brother Harp. Amen. Amen. I'm going to end it with, it's a sad state of affairs, because as I watch the coverage on Afghanistan, which is something that is concerning to me, one, we have to remember 9/11. We can't forget the anniversary is coming up.
It's coming up, right?
The institutions of terror, whether we're talking about Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, have been a thorn in the side of the West for a very long time. And as a woman, to see a country go from progressive changes, and I'm not, a lot of people, and it was interesting because what I woke up to this morning was a lot of pundits saying, well, everybody's concerned about the women having to wear a hijab. I said, I'm not concerned about if a woman has to wear a hijab, because if you're Muslim, that's your choice to do it in that religion, if that's what you decide to do. And from what I understand from a lot of my Muslim friends, it is a choice, that it is something that you decide to do in your relationship with Allah. And I'll leave it at that. My concern is, now you are telling women that they may not be able to go back to the positions that they were in, although they're saying that they want them to show up. But some have said at banks and other places, they have told them, go home, stay home, send your male relatives, and we will train them. And, when America—
that's over in Afghanistan, right?
That's over in Afghanistan. And so when you have a country that says, well, we're here to help, well, where is the help? Because you've basically been over there for 20 years and you did all of this work, all of it. And in a day for it to fall, and for people to say, well, I don't understand why the US didn't know. And I'm like, I think they did. I just think they didn't want to say. And from what I understand about the history of Afghanistan, no one has ever been able to conquer them. And every empire from the British Empire on, whoever has tried to conquer them or plunder has come out in defeat. And so if this is not a telltale sign to what sometimes America needs to focus on, the United Nations, Macron from France came out today and said the United Nations needs to step up. I'm like, absolutely. The Americans, we can help, but we can't be the policeman, because when we look back at home, how many people do we have that are struggling? Biden administration put out a statistic that said because of the payments that have been going out to people, that poverty has lessened, that food insecurity has lessened. That tells me there's a problem. And if you spent over $2 trillion in a country that fell in less than a day, you wasted your money.
Well, okay. War is business.
It is business.
It's business. This is our Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Erica spent many years in Vietnam, got nothing out of it, but a lot of heartache.
Mm-hmm.
The Vietnamese are resilient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They have terrain that's not meant for us.
Right.
Those sands are not meant for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And well, listen, that level of atrocity, as you see, ain't meant for us. You know, blowing up entire buildings just to crush. I mean, this is wow. They buildings go down like them towers went down.
Yep.
So I say that to say, listen, America sometimes need to mind its own business. Okay. And spend time defending the border when it needs to defend the border. Help when it needs to help. We could have spent a lot of time helping these people at the southern border. Coulda, shoulda, wouldas, but we still can. We still can turn around and turn those resources into helping those people at the southern border because they need it.
Right.
No, we have way too many people complaining about the Afghanis that'll be coming to America. Like, why do we need to house them? They're gonna come and take my job and take my vote. And that's what I hear is that the fear is that the people are gonna come in and turn their cities and states into different voting blocks. You know, a lot of our Caucasian citizens are really scared of being replaced, whatever that means. When we saw the Charlottesville saying that the Jews would not replace those, there's some that I'm sure would think the Mexicans, the Hondurans, the Chileans, you know, whatever the Central and South Americans will not replace them. You know, whatever it might be. You know? I still drive past vacant lots and say, damn, that look a good 40 acres and a mule. That look like a good spot.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting because, you know, there was a report that said Caucasians are now at the lowest in history in the United States. And so I've been waiting for some pundit or somebody to bring it up and say, oh, you know, we need to do more so that we can increase our numbers. I haven't heard that yet.
We talking lowest in population. We talking low. Okay.
Yes. Especially in birth rates.
Yeah. See, that's where it slows down. You know, it's birth rates. You know, unfortunately, us African Americans, Black folks, whatever we get labeled for the day, are killing each other. It has been for quite a while. You know, thank God the babies keep coming.
Right.
But the man,
right,
killing each other. Now I know that statistic is off the charts, and there's other people, there's other races that kill, interracial killing, all kind of killing and deaths and murder mayhem. However, the low sperm counts and the low birth rates, you know, has a lot to do with it. And then they talk about the migration. You want to leave Iowa because you're tired of Iowa. You want to move to Florida. You know, now you go join the Florida population and then you're stuck down there saying, oh my goodness, I didn't know there was so many Puerto Ricans down here.
Exactly.
I mean, again, it's comical. We laugh at it, but it's serious business. I
Mhm.
mean, it's serious business because these are the topics that are talked about. The
Mhm.
pundits, the talking heads that they talk about. They talk about the fears. They play on the fears. We've talked about the fears of critical race theory, the
Mhm.
fears of being replaced, the
Mhm.
fears of these. This is my weapon. This is my gun.
Mhm.
You know. So everybody wanting to get ready for the apocalypse. But I'm definitely going to have to look up that news clips to find out these parents in some Jason, the Halloween mask, going out trying to threaten the was it? Oh, I'm gonna find that.
I don't know. I don't think it was a Jason mask, but one guy, he did have like part of his face was covered so that the person couldn't see him, and he was just screaming. And I just thought, wow, these people are here to help you and your children, and you're actually threatening them. And the police were there and they weren't doing anything.
All about not wearing a mask while you trying to be anonymous.
Exactly. Exactly.
Man,
Yes. 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 So
I love this. I love this.
I know you do. Okay, so you talking about the apocalypse. So, the Bible says we don't know when or where that's going to happen. So it has not happened, and hopefully many of us are getting fit in case we have to run real fast during the apocalypse. So
Stay ready.
stay ready. So it's August, Mr. Harp. It is
Yes.
hot in many parts of the nation. We've seen
Ooh,
desert-like temperatures out west. There's a drought in the Midwest. We have reached scorching temperatures. I read a report that said July was the hottest month on record. And I know a lot of people are struggling to stay in shape. I know mask mandates have come back and people are struggling. Do I go to the gym? Do I wear a mask? Do I go outside? I have been to the beach a few times and it's been really nice. And my family and I, we've social distance, but I haven't necessarily got out there and done some exercise. What would you suggest to people who are struggling to get back into the groove? What should they do? How should they reassess their goals?
first off, just do something. Okay. If walking is your thing, walk.
Mhm.
Okay. For those who have pets, take that dog on a walk.
Mhm.
Get that baby stroller out and walk. Chase those kids around. Chase those grandkids around. Do something. Take advantage of this weather. Get
Mhm.
out there. Do something. I wish I could tell you exactly what to do. It's hot. It's hot. So drink a lot of water.
Okay.
Drink a lot of water. For those who are inclined to run, please run. If you can walk, go ahead, walk. Then pick up the pace a little bit. Swing those arms while you walk. Get a walking partner so you can talk while you walk. Bluetooth headphones so you can talk and listen to music.
Mhm.
But whatever it is that you feel that you can do, start there.
Okay.
Start there. A world of things can open up once you just start there. And if you can do it one day, do it the next day. You can do it a third day and the fourth day. It's starting to become a habit. You start waking up saying, I didn't get my walk in today. Let me go get my walk in. And things start becoming a habit. Now, the hard part is, busting through those not so nice days.
Mhm.
It's raining outside. Oh, I don't want to go out for a walk. Well, there's some things you can do in the house. Walk in place and pick those knees up. March. Go ahead, especially while you're watching a TV show. Just march. For those that are home,
Mhm. Mhm.
for those that are at home, march. For those, when you have to get home and can't hit a gym, please hit a gym. It's hot. Gyms are air conditioned. So at least take advantage of the coolness. But there's treadmills that you can walk on.
Mhm.
You can pick up the pace and you can still do it on a rainy day.
Mhm.
Again, habits. And you picking up these habits. And we speak about getting ready and getting ready. You know, let me just jump back for one moment with the
Mhm.
COVID situation. There is much talk from pundits about blaming deaths of COVID on obesity.
Mhm.
And, saying if they weren't obese, then perhaps they wouldn't have struggled so hard.
Mhm.
And we don't have all of the medical data to back that up. There's many body types that die from COVID. Getting in shape doesn't hurt anyone.
Mhm.
Moving around doesn't hurt anyone. But during this COVID situation, it's a lot of time for inactivity. And so do something, get outside. I love to hear that you went to the beach, chase, swim, anybody, swim. Swimming is some of the best full body exercising that you can do. And it's good for your heart, good for your lungs. You know, I encourage any exercise, you know, before we have to wait for specifics to get started,
Mhm.
do something,
Okay.
lift those knees up. Now, once you get a habit going, now we can start looking for something else. We want to make it fun.
Mhm.
We want to make fitness fun. You know, and one of the ways to make it fun is by simply breaking through that wall and saying, I did that. I did that.
Mhm.
Oh man, I did that. Once you get through that, then doors open up for you.
Mhm. Mhm.
I hope that helps. I mean, you know, getting outside in the heat's a tough one.
It
Drink a
is.
lot of water.
So, and those are excellent points. But speaking of, so it's hot. So you know, Mr. Harp, I walk every day, and I did my walk today. And so I try to go when I can. And sometimes I know for some people they'll go, "Oh, it's too hot. I can't do it." And everybody I think has to pay attention to their tolerance level. But what are some other things besides drinking water that you would recommend for people who have to be out in hot weather?
Well, there's fruits, there's vegetables that'll help cool you off.
Mhm.
Things like cucumbers, watermelons, leafy salads. You know, really, these are kind of foods that help to cool you off.
Okay.
You know, to help take some of the heat. You know, of course, you want to heat yourself up. You got peppers. You got, you would there are some foods that will help to cool the body off, to lower the body temperature.
Okay.
Um, of course, we're creature comforts. You know, we're creatures of comfort. You
Mhm.
know, so we like our air conditionings and our fans and sitting up under them,
Mhm.
palm trees and things of that nature. However, take advantage of getting outside. Maybe find a time in the day where it's cooler,
Mhm.
earlier in the morning, later in the evening.
Mhm.
Um, some people, I personally, I like it when it's hot.
Mhm.
So I like the 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock runs.
Mhm.
Uh, Sweat it out. Sometimes, you know, each person doing something will help you find your niche, will help you find what it is that you like.
Mhm. Mhm. So we also, because this is August, you know, there are a lot of marathons that are coming up in the fall. So people have been running and people have been walking. What are some things that either of these exercisers can do to increase their endurance? Or is it just increasing your endurance by doing the actual exercise?
You definitely have to do the exercise to help increase the endurance. With walking, um, you know, our bodies will tend to form habits,
Mhm.
find their limits, and stay there. And then we have to break through those limits. And you know, when you're lifting weights, we go up, we go down, we increase weights so that we can break through cycles so you don't plateau. And I can see the same thing in any type of exercise. When you're running, if you only run a mile, only run a mile, two blocks past the mile is going to be a little tough. You know? But increasing the distance, sporadically, intermittently, increase the distance. And again, having a walking partner. Many of the triathlons, marathons, half marathons, they're a certain distance and they're certain in competition.
Yes.
You want to swim 1.2 miles, then bike for 5 miles, and then run for 5 miles. That's your small triathlon. Your half marathon is going to be 6 miles. Okay. Now, if you walk that half marathon, the goal is to get it done. It's not necessarily about time. It's about getting it done. Okay. And so increasing your metabolism I didn't mean to say metabolism, but increasing your endurance. Yeah. Increasing your endurance in order to do that, start out by a couple blocks. Then start walking a mile. Find a mile marker. If you have a park where there's a mile marker every time you go past it, get a walking partner and start off slow. Do a mile a week. And then after that week, try a little bit more. See what you can get done out of that second mile.
Okay.
And put a marker down and say, this is where I got, and I'm gonna get past this tomorrow.
Excellent. So I have to share this. So yes. I walk for about 3.5, 4 miles each day. And originally it was taking me about 90 minutes to do it, but now I have it down to 57 minutes that I can do it speed walking. So I'm just saying the endurance tricks that you're talking about and tips, they actually do work.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad that you're doing that. 90 minutes to 57 minutes is a 40-minute drop.
Yes.
I mean, that's almost half of your time. Double time. That's really good. So when is your half marathon?
It's actually in October. They have changed it now. So it was supposed to be an international free press marathon where we were supposed to walk 13 miles in 4 hours. Now they have taken off the international portion. So I don't know how much it's going to change and what the route will be. So I'll keep you posted on that.
Yes, keep all of us posted on that.
I certainly will. Well, Mr. Harp, our time has come to an end. I know you have so much going on. Do you have any good things to share with us? Tell us how we can find you.
EricHarp9@gmail.com send me an email, any questions that you might have. Eric Harp on Facebook, that's where I'm at. Listen, it's a good time to be alive.
Yes,
it's a good time to smile. There's many adversities that we're having. I just wish everybody the best. And come on, we'll see each other on the end of this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Harp, for coming on the Kim B. Davis Show and teaching us how to reset our fitness goals and helping us to get in shape. We look forward to seeing you next month with another exciting topic.
One other thing I'd like to say, I teach a class called DSCO, DSKO, do some kind of fitness. It's an up-tempo cardio class. Let me go and pub it right quick. I teach it right now currently at a gym in Westland. It's called the Forum Fitness Center, 9:30 a.m. on Thursdays. Just getting there, picking up some more time slots. Don't worry, I'm gonna keep you posted. But I'd love for anybody to come on out. It's at, don't even have the address on me as I'm plugging it up. But look it up, the Forum Fitness Center, forumfitnesscenter.com, Westland, Michigan. Anybody close, come on out and check me out. And I will have other spots and other times available coming up real soon. So stay tuned.
Excellent. What's your website and what's your email address again in case people have questions?
EricHarp9@gmail.com.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Harp, for coming on the Kim B. Davis Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. You know, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat. Did I say Twitter? I think I did. It's Kimberly Batchelor Davis. Batchelor is spelled Batchelor. You can see this show on youtube.com/Kimberly Batchelor Davis. You can also listen to this show on Apple, Spotify, Google, and Stitcher. You can find out more about me as an author at kimbdavis.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you'll tune in for the next episode. And as always, remember, be magnificent.